it is part of the journey. So never get disheartened about failures. But that car has featured in a James Bond movie as the villain's car. So yeah, I cannot plan for it, but I'll be looking for those kind of challenges along the way.
Why Williams Grand Prix? What's led you into joining the business? Welcome to a special edition of Techne Connect's Behind the Vision, and we're back with Selin Tur. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Ferris. How are you?
Yes, I'm very good indeed. It's an absolute privilege to have you back. So people may not know, we've already done a Behind the Wheel podcast with you. So that went through all of your career. But now today is about zoning in into your executive journey. And then also we can elevate the vision of your new venture that you're currently spearheading, and we'll delve deeper into what's happening in 2026.
Yeah, sure.
So the pathway to becoming an executive, do you want to provide a high-level overview of how you've ended up as Managing Director at Williams Grand Prix?
I'm an engineer, electrical engineer, originally from Turkey. I've been I've been a huge Formula One fan. First of all, being my love for Formula One directed me towards becoming an engineer, and I could have somehow managed following my dreams and becoming an engineer first and finding the right opportunity to come to the UK and effectively getting my first Formula One role at our current engine supplier, actually Mercedes, many years ago now. And a few years later, I was here at Williams, being one of the lead engineers of the former engineering consultancy arm of Williams. I spent 7 wonderful years as part of Williams' advanced engineering journey. And throughout those years, I involved in many firsts in electrification and battery technology and their implementation on performance and racing cars. We did battery pack, or first battery pack powering entire Formula E racing series, many supercars, established a racing team, electric racing team here with my colleagues. So, at the end of that journey, I was looking for a change and progression in my career into the executive direction. And I have received an unlikely offer from an industrial vehicle business. I didn't consider that seriously at first, I must admit, because I became an engineer for racing. I was part of a racing team, and I was really happy here. But ultimately, I wanted to progress in my career, and I've been offered a role to set up a brand new electrification group within a large group company, listed business, and with that, I've been given an opportunity to set up an electrified powertrain engineering group in an established commercial vehicle business. So I thought that was quite an interesting proposition, especially moving out of UK. First I moved from Turkey to the UK, and then I've been provided this opportunity to move to Switzerland and establish an engineering organization across multiple countries. In the end, I ended up setting up an innovation group in Switzerland, a manufacturing and engineering group in Italy, and acquired a small battery management business here in the UK as well. And in 3 years' time, we moved into manufacturing batteries and e-axles for commercial vehicles. And that corporate was going through demerger. During demerger, group CTO offered me a promotion and a role change. I've been offered Vice President of Advanced Technology and Innovation role to look after wider technologies than electrification for an off-highway commercial vehicle side of the business, effectively looking after all of the technologies going into agricultural and construction machinery. It was really exciting for me. My background has been electrification and taking really cutting-edge technologies, implementing them across various vehicles and applications. And I was quite curious about technology overall throughout my childhood to even today. So that opportunity, looking after automation, autonomous systems, and other combustion technologies, sustainability technologies was quite interesting for me. So I took that opportunity, and with that I was a vice president of a large corporate, having engineering teams across continents and countries. So I truly enjoyed. I must admit, I found the same excitement working on agricultural machinery as I found on racing cars. There are quite interesting similarities between them. Low volume products, mostly internally born technologies being implemented, going to the same track. Maybe that's not the track, but farm. Similar kind of boundaries, and really cutting edge application of technologies. So I quite enjoyed those years.
Yeah, amazing. What? Obviously, I remember going deep into it. We got really excited about your story about designing the Formula E battery on a piece of paper, like a blank sheet paper. So as an engineer, I know your passion. Do you still hold the same passion when you enter into more the executive world?
Yeah, it is slightly different, but I do still find the same kind of challenge and passion. I must admit, my role is still, I'm the Managing Director and Chief Technology Officer of Williams Grand Prix Technologies. Ultimately, I think we are going through a period with the technology taking so much part in our world, in our lives. And effectively, some people call these as exponential age now. And the development is going with such a speed that almost some of the businesses cannot afford being managed through classic managers, but rather really individuals who has deep knowledge about the technology as well as entrepreneurial side. And the best representation of this is going around Formula One grid, including our team principals. More than half of the grid is being managed through engineering background team principals. So that's an interesting start to look into. And I still do undertake engineering tasks, maybe mostly reviewing at high level, maybe giving direction to the engineering teams, but that's part of my journey still. But ultimately, I have a higher degree of responsibility. Nowadays, I quite find working with marketing, sales teams, engaging with customers as exciting, as well as working with other functions, finance as well. So there are differences, but ultimately I need to go through lots of challenges, a variety of tasks, and find solutions around them. Most of them includes or involve actually human factors, and involving with and working with my teams and finding solutions across all those challenges that we go through.
What advice? Obviously, there'll be lots of engineers out there in our community, and they'll look at their own careers, and everyone has their own goals. But some goals will be entrepreneurship. They want to either run their own outfit, they want to steer a company, they want to break into ultimately becoming an executive. If you're going to break down your own pathway, is there any specific advice that you'd give or provide to people who are trying to embark on that journey?
Yeah, first thing I would like to say that I don't believe executive leadership is career progression. It is more like it is a choice. I believe you can progress in your career being an engineer, sticking to the technical career path. And if you look around the world, there are many of those. So one of the Google's founders never became a CEO of the company, right? So, today, if you look into AI world, there are lots of chief scientists, chief engineers really focusing on advancing the technology rather than thinking about executive roles. First of all, you need to really know what you would like to achieve, and you need to understand and think about if that is the right path forward for your career. And once you decide doing that, it is about education, continuous learning, and recognizing your strengths, recognizing your weaknesses, and trying to learn, improve, try, test, and iterate. And look for opportunities and take those opportunities. I think most important advice I would give at anyone at any level of their career journey is continuously learning. Never stop learning. Never be comfortable that you're at top of your career and you're invincible. You should keep learning. Second thing, there's nothing called as failure in life. It is every failure makes you stronger, teaches you how not to do things. It is part of the journey. So never get disheartened about failures. Just learn about them, iterate, and get better.
Great advice. Why Williams Grand Prix? What's led you into joining the business?
I connected to kind of my introverted nature. So I mentioned about this a few times, but my childhood, I've been quite a shy child and quite introverted. And I really found relationships, if you can call it like that, with machines, Legos, computers, much more explainable, much more easier rather than human relationships. So that was my first attraction to engineering at early ages. And then I was quite interested in different forms of art. I mentioned to you, I've been a guitar player for long years. I played in rock bands. Even here at Williams, we had a company band called as Petrol Heads that we played at Christmas parties and staff events. So I think Formula One attracted me from both aspects. It's engineering. It is like if you look around these cars, that they are functional, but they're form of art for me. That they're smooth curves around, everything being functional yet looking so beautiful. So that attracted me to this space at first place. And many years later, I was really lucky enough to be here at Williams. I joined Williams F1's electronics group back in 2011, I believe that was. We were at the beginning of our journey on a beautiful supercar, hybrid supercar. That is the probably dream supercar that has never went into production, called as Jaguar CX-75. But that car has featured in a James Bond movie as the villain's car, Spectre movie. With that one, I joined Williams and I developed the battery pack and worked on the hybrid system of that car. On the back of it, we established an engineering consultancy. As I said, I spent 7 wonderful years here, some of the best times of my career, definitely. With my colleagues, we have done a lot advancing electrification technology and beyond. And I played a kind of lead role in that organization, and I followed my career and progressed from there. And then I was into technology, wider technologies, later years. And there has been an opening here. New Williams owners decided to establish a new engineering and technology services arm called as Williams Grand Prix Technologies. And this group was supposed to be focusing on digital technologies, integrating everything that makes a Formula One racing car in terms of design, development, manufacturing, and racing of that car. Take those capabilities and skills and implement them across wider sectors, and mainly around digital technologies like modeling and simulation and so on, and integration of machine learning and AI technologies. And that was quite an interesting proposition for me. I joined here as a technical director. A few months later, I've been appointed as a managing director and chief technology officer. Williams is special for me at first place, and second, I cannot think any better place than being part of a Formula One racing team, engineering and services technology arm, anywhere else than such an organization to advance technologies and innovate around them, and have interesting challenges. So that was quite natural progression for me. And if you imagine, I've been through a similar kind of journey as in leadership, engineering leadership roles, and now I'm taking that journey as a kind of leader of the organization. So it is, truth to be told, is quite exciting.
Williams Grand Prix, what's the mission?
Williams Grand Prix Technologies.
Technology, sorry.
Yeah. Our mission is ultimately to apply, adopt Formula One derived technologies and best-in-class modern technologies to our customers, in solving our customers' demanding challenges. We are here to establish a world-class engineering and technology services arm, born through Formula One culture, Formula One mentality. And we got two main areas that we explore and implement at this point in time. One of them is based on digital technologies, predictive maintenance, predictive analytics, utilizing best-in-class modeling and simulation technologies and integrating modern machine learning technologies on top of it, and trying to estimate things before they happen. And that can be implemented across a wide variety of applications. One of them is in public domain. We have a partnership addressing water utility sectors, predictive maintenance needs with our partners, trying to estimate before assets break down, how long it's going to take for how long time we have before they break down, so we can really react and provide solutions before things really fully fails. But you can implement the same technology, example, in estimating remaining useful life of a battery pack, or maybe estimating a gearbox before that breaks down. So there are various forms of application of that. That's the digital technology and product line. The other one is going back to my background, more around electrification and battery technologies. Although we cannot go into the details at this point in time, together with the team, we've been quite active on designing and developing a battery technology solution for a specific sector. I'm hoping that we'll be launching that product sometime around middle of next year. We have a lead customer that will be integrating our battery technology, but I'm looking forward to that journey. A similar kind of starting, but with a different angle. Okay,
very interesting. I'll ask you a little bit, especially your background on battery technology. How do you see, especially within the European landscape, how do you see the battery technology evolving? Because we're on a journey at the moment within the whole industry. What impact would you expect European and in particular Williams Grand Prix Technologies to have in that space?
Yeah, I think very difficult question, and I continuously ask to myself and at the events that I join as well. Ultimately, the core technology around battery cells and minerals are coming through Asia, and our role it seems like taking the cells and start building best-in-class battery technologies around them. I think not only for batteries, but for all new technologies, I have observed two main points throughout my career. One of them is technological readiness, the other one is commercial readiness for any technology to be able to pick up. Technological readiness means that you really need to come up with best-in-class technologies around the product and solution, and it should fit into the ecosystem as well. Commercial readiness means actually that should be commercially competitive, you can manufacture at cost and so on. And for batteries, we got challenges into commercial side of things, mainly. We seem to be not commercially cost competitive, but we are trying to overcome that with our extra mile around performance of the solutions. But at the same time, throughout my background, I kept really exploring scalable modular solutions. It is kind of buzzword in electrification world or across actually industry. You're trying to come up with solutions which you can build upon very quickly, and I've been part of these similar kind of challenges and providing solutions around them throughout my career. In the battery world, it is kind of similar. You need to come up with a kind of as modular as possible and scalable technology, and there are some enablers and and some challenges that you need to go through that. So yeah, it is not an easy field, but technology differentiation and best-in-class products should enable us to compete. One more element I would like to say, rather than rebuilding what is available out there, we really need to focus on partnerships. Rather than trying to make everything ourselves, we need to really get together with our ecosystem and build on top of each other's capabilities. In that way, we can reduce our cost bases. We do not replicate unnecessary investments and really use our capabilities to the best and achieve commercial competitiveness as well.
Going on to the other pillar, so the digitalization solutions. We're seeing obviously the utilization of ML. We're then seeing some like really interesting chemistry models. I call it like it's probably the first time I've seen in my career where you've seen so many different disciplines come together. You got like electrochemists, specialists who are then working with ML teams who are then building cloud solutions. How do you see the digital world evolving? Because it's probably the fastest evolvement I've seen in technology. And what impact are you looking to have in the market through your digital offerings?
I must admit, engineering is more of a systems thinking. If you look around these cars, there are multiple engineering disciplines going into making them, from vehicle dynamics, aerodynamics, to electronics control, mechanical structures, and so on. So kind of cross collaboration across engineering is quite natural for us anyway. So I think digital technologies are driving that one more time, let's put it that way, or in a kind of similar fashion. Maybe things are happening in digital space, but ultimately we are engineering real world items, right? Because we are living in real world. Hence, you really need to combine those skills between multiple disciplines and get them together and enable them to come up with products. There are quite few companies, very successful machine learning based engineering solutions providers in the UK. We are really lucky that you are trying to advance the technology. They're bringing Formula One CFD skills and combining them with mathematicians, with software developers, and to come up with best-in-class new generation engineering solutions. So it's a kind of a necessity and quite in many ways without that collaboration you cannot achieve the impact that you need to have. In our case, first, we are lucky enough to be part of a larger group, so we have access to wider startup ecosystem technologies, so we can take their technologies and adopt them in our workflows. Furthermore, we got some advanced modeling and simulation capabilities throughout our history, and we add classic machine learning capabilities on top of it, and implement different approach to some of the challenges that we see over there. Engineering disciplines are so wide. Sometimes I'm being asked, will there be ever time where we'll just write down a prompt and things will be designed? And I really believe in small, in dedicated tool chains will be able to achieve that. Today, sometimes when I visit these new startup AI businesses, they show me such as how they optimize the cold plate of an inverter. It is really eye-opener and very exciting. But at the same time, when I look into that, I see some challenges as well. That is because I implemented them in racing cars and manufactured them. Currently, we focus on optimization without thinking the manufacturing aspect of things. But I think these are really progressing very, very quickly. And I would suggest in 3 to 5 year time frame, we will have brand new tool chain around in the hands of engineers, which will enable us even go faster. About 25 years ago, when I was starting my engineering career, probably I was one of the first digital engineers, if we can call it. I have never engineered anything without modeling and simulation, implementing modeling and simulation, or building models of those systems at first place. I've been at a very early stage of my career working on model-based code generation already. So new generation engineers now will have new suite of tools in their hands, and probably every engineer will turn into 10x engineers. They will be able to do things much faster than what we can do right now, and ultimately it will enable us to go even further, faster, more exponential into the future.
As you've defined the mission of the business, what does success look like for you? When are you going to be content?
I don't think you ever get content, to be honest. So it is continuous progression. I think I'm looking for really a number of indicators. Let's put it that way. First of all, customers, becoming our customers' preferred supplier, and making sure that they get the value out of our business working with us. Second thing is becoming an employer of choice, providing best experience for our employees. Ultimately, when you look around any business, the real asset a business has is their people. You build your businesses on their capabilities together with them. I think if we can progress and grow our business and meet our financial targets and provide return on investment for our investors, I think that is success. And along the way, I'm looking forward to achieving number of firsts again, so that nobody could have delivered before, and we do it first time and one more time. It is quite unique and quite probably even finding the opportunity is quite limited. But once you find the opportunity, you need to be able to deliver on top of it. So yeah, I cannot plan for it, but I'll be looking for those kind of challenges along the way.
When it comes to building the business with the people, what's the business going to be built on from a behavioural perspective, culture, values perspective? Obviously, you've got yourself, your background can lead from the front with your F1 heritage. Is that what you want ingrained into the business from a behaviours perspective, like F1 principle, or?
Exactly that. I think our unique differentiator is being in a Formula One environment and having similar kind of behaviours, but adopting those technologies across wider sectors. So the first thing first, we all highlight this, but in a kind of Formula One environment, you're continuously, relentlessly trying to achieve excellence, right? You're trying to adopt, implement, repeat, iterate. And when you look through a kind of race weekend, you see people talking on the garage between race engineers and drivers. So you're looking for honest, integrity-based communication across your teams, creating a kind of trustworthy environment, trust-based relationship, and relevant environment for that. Probably one of the most important elements is the speed and agility that we address the challenges, and taking accountability and delivering that as expected from the speed and agility of a Formula One racing team consultancy engineering services arm. So those are the main elements, but ultimately, as I said, in engineering world, there are hardly any challenges that a single discipline, a single person can resolve. It is really being able to act as one team with a team focus and going ahead and delivering those challenges, working collaboratively as a team is the most important element in what we do. But I believe these are all applicable to wider industries, other businesses, and indeed in other organizations I involved, I have seen similar kind of values, cultural behaviors, or initiatives around, but here we really provide responsibility and accountability, and I think that is quite important, and it is not a kind of challenge, it is an enabler, because we would like to believe that we got best-in-class talent in our organization, and we would rely on them to go ahead and execute and deliver, while we, as the leaders, provide guidance to them.
Can you provide an insight into some of the technical disciplines that, or some of your growth areas from a skill set perspective?
It is quite, I would say there's no surprise there.
Yeah.
We've got mechanical design engineers, we've got electronic controls engineers, we've got systems integration engineers, and probably some new disciplines around, rather not new discipline, but based on software engineering, controls engineering, but with a little bit more data and machine learning skill set on top of it. But as a functional business, we need more than that. We got program managers, we got business development people, we got marketing and communications team members, and so on. Of course, I am lucky to be part of a larger group, so I got business partners around human resources to finances, and it's kind of creating an organization that functions as a kind of group, and dealing with day-to-day challenges and trying to deliver the business requirements.
I'm going to go a little bit deeper into some of the skill sets. So within software and controls as one example, what's the why behind that? So the way I look at the talent landscape at all points is there's some amazing technical challenges in the market from a software and controls perspective. Why come and join Williams Grand Prix? What's the technical challenge behind it?
I mean, first of all, you do not wait for many years to see the outcomes of your work. I think that's the best attraction in this world. I'm involved in some of the engineering challenges. Some of my engineers did work on some of the products over 10 years before they went onto production in my former role. And here, not all of our applications are racing, but rather, if you work on a racing car, you see the result immediately. Sometimes you upgrade software from the race to race and you see the result. In some of the engineering challenges that we are solving, you see the results in 6 months to a year kind of time frame. I think continuous evaluation and recognizing your impact on a business is quite a big attraction, being part of this journey. And along the way, there are some other added benefits. Of course, you can collaborate with our Formula One engineers. You breathe and live in the middle of these racing cars, and having access to a kind of appreciating business, which gives you not only responsibility, but not only accountability, but responsibility, and trying to advance your career are some of the benefits that we provide.
So as we enter 2026 and we break down your business mission, what does success look like for you at top level? What do you want to achieve in 2026 in particular?
Well, ultimately, without going into full details, we've got, as all businesses, we've got clearly established targets that we would like to achieve in 2026, but ultimately, we would like to deliver the products that we are progressing with the design and development, and that will be really important for us. As attached to that, we got financial targets, we got some further development targets across the organization. So it's a kind of multiple challenges that organizational, business, engineering targets that we need to deliver. So, but ultimately, some of our challenges are not annual. That's more continuation, and we got milestones that we need to deliver towards establishing the business, towards milestones of the programs we are executing, and yeah. It's a range of business targets that we need to go ahead and deliver.
Do you expect further growth in terms of workforce next year?
Yes, actually, we do. We got open roles. We are still hiring, and of course, it's one of the elements. Although we got our own plans and our existing customers. At the same time, this in engineering and technology services are more Formula One racing team, so we've got quite few engagements with prospective clients as well. So depending on how those business prospects progresses into contracts, then that will enable us to hire further talent into our group.
And from a talent perspective, is there any specific roles that you'd like to discuss for 2026 that you might be hiring for?
To be honest, it is along the lines of what we are trying to achieve. It is more around battery technologies, electrification, and applying modeling and simulation and machine learning technologies across challenges. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a hardest question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The why. So why come and join you on the mission in one sentence?
Well, it is similar to what I said earlier, really. Probably the most convincing argument I can put forward, you'll be working in a technology-driven environment, engaging and collaborating with some of the best-in-class engineering teams, using the best-in-class software tool chain out there, and dealing with multitudes of challenges, so variety. And it is not always, it is not like continuously doing the same job day in, day out for years and years, but going into different challenges, finding solutions, delivering that, and seeing the results. So I think that's the reason why you should come and join us.
It's an amazing answer. It's an absolute pleasure having you on board for Behind the Wheel, and you're one of our first guests on Behind the Wheel. We didn't do many before you, and then to have you on Behind the Vision, seeing you spearhead this mission of Williams Grand Prix Technologies. I can't wait to see it unfold in 2026, and I certainly can't wait to unfold what's happening from a battery pack perspective.
Thank you very much, Reyes, for hosting me second time, and it has been a pleasure to host you here at Williams, Atlas and Williams Technology Campus Experience Center.